obviously, talking about genetics being one of the key factors or evidence towards looking at natural selection. So we can look at even modern things as populations. We can examine how their genetics work in a population. And so when you have a group or a group of gene pool of a population, we can analyze that and use math to sort of model how it works in the form of a curve. So individuals by themselves can't evolve a new trait during his lifetime. That's something that Darwin came up with. There was alternative theories like by a man by the name of Lamarck. His concept was you could, like a giraffe could grow its neck longer and then pass it on to its offspring. That was later proven obviously not to be correct that way, but he wasn't 100% wrong. We can pass on the protein markers which affect the way our genes work from parent to child based on what you do in your lifetime. So that's why we've always tried to figure out why certain things occur. But the actual DNA itself, you can't evolve a new trait in your lifetime and pass it on to your child. It has to be a mutation that occurred in the cells that are being passed on, the gametes. So that's why it has to be that way. Natural selection is going to act on the range of phenotypes. So the better diversity you have, the more likely you're going to have different things occurring in the population. Low diversity populations mean there's nothing really to work with. If everybody has the exact same trait, there isn't a change. Everybody's going to be the same no matter what. So that's why natural selection has to occur in populations that have more than one option into it, with lots of different genes and variables and things like that, lots of different alleles. So the gene pool is going to play a role. Wider, deeper gene pool is better than shallow ones. What I do is I look at the frequency of alleles, different versions of a gene. How often does it occur? How often do you have that version that's a small p or a big P or a yellow P or a green P? How often do those things occur? We use letters in genetics like big B, little b. Those are alleles. And we use that, we can determine those frequencies. So I can put that into an equilibrium constant. This is an ideal situation, how a population should behave. So in that case, we call it the Hardy-Weinberg theory. It's named after the two gentlemen who came up with the idea of this perfect population. It doesn't truly ever exist because it requires basically no evolution, no natural selection to ever occur. Things that throw it off are things like genetic drift. That is, random movements of population. You just happen to have more people that get green peas in their population than yellow peas. And so green peas become more common than yellow peas. That kind of thing occurs that way. Immigration and emigration, migration of people in and out of the population, that's going to affect the population. As you put new genes in or take genes out, it's going to affect the population and affect how it's being utilized. Mutations, all of a sudden a new trait. You had green and yellow peas, now all of a sudden a third color shows up as a trait. Maybe purple. All of a sudden you have that option in the population. Maybe it's more successful, it grows better because of that color. Limited population size, if you have a small population, they get affected easier. So things like cheetahs, which have a very small population, have a problem with their ability to function correctly because they have very little diversity. They get influenced by any sort of trait in the population changing very rapidly because there's so few individuals left. So the smaller populations of animals, of things like cheetahs or tigers, things like that, cause problems with genetic diversity. There are three types of natural selection we can model utilizing population genetics. This is our ideal perfect population following a bell curve or a normal curve, where it first forms that nice little thing with lots of options over the whole range of population. If I change this curve, I can create what's called stabilizing natural selection, which means I move to the middle. I get rid of the extreme forms and I come towards the middle, where most of the average people are, or most of the average traits are. So all the extremes are basically getting pushed away. So I kind of stabilize it in the middle of the curve. Bad news on this is, it's great for having a lot of people very much the same, but over time, if those extremes were the good things, that maybe the weather changes, the climate changes, and one of those traits was where those people could survive, then all of a sudden your population is in trouble. Disruptive, I disrupt the curve. I get rid of the middle. I move to two extreme groups, to the two ends. The downside to this is, the people here may have traits I need, but the thing that can happen here is all of a sudden if these guys keep getting further and further apart and more distant, you may end up with different species because this may create a speciation event. The third type is called directional. I move the whole curve one way. Did I really overall get rid of anybody? Not really. I lost a few here and I gained a few more over here. I just moved everybody this way. People talk about human height being this way. In the past, height was averaged around here, but over time, the average height has crept up and the population has shifted towards that direction. So the curve has just moved one way. It could also go the other direction. So instead of the curve being cut in the middle or only pushed to the middle, I just move the whole curve one way or the other. When people talk about they want to change your grades in the class, this is what you want. You want the teachers to move the grade one direction the whole way. Add points to everybody's grade so the mean moves one direction. So these are your three basic types of natural selection, and that is